Right now, as you're watching this video, your body is telling you a story. It's a story written in muscle tension, carved into your posture, encoded in your digestive system, and inscribed in the very cells of your being. This story isn't written in words. It's written in pain, in chronic fatigue, in mysterious illnesses that doctors can't explain. And if you've been wondering why you feel disconnected from your body, why you have chronic pain that makes no medical sense, or why your body seems to betray you at every turn, then you need to understand this fundamental truth. Your body is your trauma history. I'm about to share something with you that's going to revolutionize how you understand every ache, every pain, every mysterious symptom you've ever experienced. Recent groundbreaking research from the University of Oklahoma studied survivors of the 1995 Oklahoma City bombing, and what they found will shock you. Even decades after the trauma, even when these survivors appeared mentally healthy and resilient, their bodies still carried the biological imprint of what they had endured. Their cortisol levels were altered, their blood pressure was elevated, their inflammatory markers were changed. The mind may have healed, but the body remembered everything. What I'm about to teach you today goes against everything you've been told about health, about healing, about why your body feels the way it does. The medical establishment wants you to believe that your symptoms are random, that your pain is just part of aging, that your digestive issues are just stress. But they're wrong. Your body is trying to tell you exactly what's happened to you and where it's stored. If you're ready to finally understand why your body feels like a stranger, why conventional medicine has failed you, why your trauma isn't just in your head, but written into every fiber of your being, then hit that subscribe button right now. Like this video, and tell me in the comments below, what chronic symptom have you been carrying that no doctor can explain? Because I read every single comment, and your body's story matters. Let me start with something that's going to sound impossible, but I need you to stay with me, because this is backed by hard science. Your body doesn't just remember trauma, it becomes trauma. When Dr. Bessel van der Kolk wrote, "The body keeps the score," he wasn't speaking metaphorically. He was describing a literal biological process where traumatic experiences get encoded into your nervous system, your fascia, your cellular memory, and your very DNA. Here's what happens that no one ever tells you. When you experience trauma, especially chronic trauma, like what happens in narcissistic families, your nervous system gets stuck in survival mode. But it's not just your mind that gets stuck, it's every system in your body. Your muscles learn to armor themselves against the next attack. Your digestive system learns to shut down because survival is more important than digestion. Your immune system learns to stay on high alert because danger never really passes. Research published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences mapped exactly where childhood trauma shows up in the body, and the results are staggering. Emotional abuse, emotional neglect, physical abuse, and physical neglect all create specific patterns of negative activation in the body. In women, trauma shows up most strongly in the abdomen and lower back. In men, it's primarily the lower back, but emotional abuse also hits the abdomen. This isn't coincidence. This is your body's way of holding onto experiences that were too overwhelming to process. But here's what's really going to blow your mind. Your body doesn't just store trauma. It organizes your entire physiology around it. Wilhelm Reich, the revolutionary psychiatrist who was kicked out of the psychoanalytic community for his radical ideas, called this muscular armoring. He discovered that trauma creates chronic muscular contractions throughout the body, literally forming armor against future threats. Pete Walker, in his groundbreaking work on complex PTSD, describes how abuse survivors develop what he calls muscle armoring, a constant state of physical tension where the body is perpetually braced for impact. Look down at your body right now. Notice your shoulders. Are they hunched up toward your ears? That's not just poor posture, that's your body protecting your neck from the next blow that never came. Notice your jaw. Is it clenched tight? That's not just stress, That's all the words you were never allowed to speak, all the screams you had to swallow. Notice your breathing. Is it shallow, trapped in your chest? That's not just anxiety. That's your body learning that it's not safe to fully exhale, not safe to let down your guard. Your digestive system tells one of the most brutal stories. If you have IBS, chronic stomach pain, mysterious digestive issues that doctors can't explain, you need to understand what's really happening. Research shows that up to 80% of people with PTSD also suffer from gastrointestinal problems. When you're stuck in survival mode, your nervous system literally turns off digestion. Blood flow is redirected away from your gut toward your muscles, so you can fight or flee. But when that survival state becomes chronic, when it becomes your baseline, your digestive system never gets the chance to function properly. The gut-brain axis becomes a highway of dysfunction. Stress hormones flood your system, inflammation skyrockets, and your gut microbiome, that delicate ecosystem of bacteria that's supposed to support your mental health, gets completely destroyed. You end up with what researchers call leaky gut, where the lining of your intestines becomes permeable, allowing toxins to flood into your bloodstream. This isn't just a digestive problem. This is your trauma, literally poisoning your entire system. But let me tell you about the most insidious way trauma shows up in your body, through what's called somatic flashbacks. You know how emotional flashbacks can transport you back to the moment of trauma. Somatic flashbacks do the same thing, but through your body. Your nervous system gets triggered, and suddenly you're experiencing the exact physical sensations you felt during the original trauma. Your heart races, your hands shake, your chest tightens, your breathing becomes labored, not because something is happening now, but because your body is reliving something that happened years or even decades ago. Dr. Michael Quirk's research on complex PTSD shows that these somatic flashbacks can manifest as sudden, unexplained pain, nausea, dizziness, or sensations that seem to come out of nowhere. Your rational mind knows you're safe, but your body is experiencing the terror, the helplessness, the physical sensations of being hurt all over again. This is why traditional therapy often fails, because you're trying to heal something that lives in your body through talking, through thinking, through analyzing. Your chronic pain tells another chapter of this story. Research consistently shows that 20 to 80% of trauma survivors develop chronic pain conditions. Fibromyalgia, chronic back pain, migraines, joint pain that has no identifiable cause. These aren't separate conditions. They're all manifestations of the same underlying trauma that's been encoded into your nervous system. Here's the breakthrough that changed everything for me. Your fascia, that connective tissue that wraps around every muscle, every organ, every cell in your body, acts like a storage system for emotional memory. When you experience trauma, especially repeated trauma, emotions that couldn't be expressed, feelings that had to be suppressed, get trapped in your fascia. Your body literally becomes a museum of your unprocessed experiences. The research on this is undeniable. A study published in Clinical Manifestations of Body Memories showed that negative bodily experiences get stored as body memories that continue to influence behavior and create physical symptoms long after the original trauma. These body memories manifest as chronic pain, dissociative symptoms, and general somatic complaints that baffle traditional medicine. Now, let me teach you how to read your body's trauma map. Start with your head and neck. If you carry chronic tension in your jaw, if you grind your teeth at night, if you have TMJ or chronic headaches, your body is holding onto all the words you weren't allowed to speak, all the emotions you had to swallow. Facial tension isn't just stress, it's your body's way of maintaining the mask you had to wear to survive. Move down to your shoulders and upper back. This is where most trauma survivors carry what I call the weight of the world. Chronic tension in your shoulders, that feeling like you're always carrying a heavy backpack. Upper back pain that never goes away. This is your body armor. Your nervous system learned that the safest position was hunched forward, protecting your heart, making yourself smaller, preparing for the next attack. Your chest and heart area tell their own story. If you have chronic chest tightness, if you feel like you can't take a full breath, if you have heart palpitations or panic attacks, your body is protecting the most vulnerable part of you. Trauma survivors often develop what's called chest collapse, a chronic caving in of the front body to protect the heart from further injury. Your core and abdomen are perhaps the most telling. The research I mentioned earlier shows that childhood trauma specifically targets the abdominal region. If you have chronic stomach pain, digestive issues, lower back pain, or hip problems, your body is holding trauma in what ancient traditions call your power center. This is where your life force, your personal power, your sense of self should reside. But trauma turns this area into a storage facility for pain. The lower back and hips are where your body stores some of the deepest trauma. Your psoas muscle, the muscle that connects your spine to your legs, is often called the muscle of the soul because it holds so much emotional trauma. Hip pain, lower back pain, sciatica that has no structural cause, these are often manifestations of trauma that's been stored in your body's foundation. Your legs and feet tell the story of your ability to stand in your power, to feel grounded, to move forward in life. Chronic leg pain, foot problems, balance issues, these often reflect trauma around your autonomy, your ability to leave dangerous situations, your right to stand up for yourself. But here's what's really revolutionary about understanding your body's trauma map. Once you know how to read it, you can start to rewrite it. Your nervous system has something called neuroplasticity, the ability to form new neural pathways throughout your entire life. This means that the trauma patterns encoded in your body can be changed, can be healed, can be transformed. The key is understanding that healing trauma isn't just about changing your thoughts or processing emotions. It's about changing your body's entire relationship to safety, to threat, to existence itself. When your nervous system has been wired for survival for years or decades, you have to teach it how to relax, how to trust, how to feel safe in your own skin. This is why I'm so passionate about somatic approaches to healing. Somatic therapy, developed by pioneers like Dr. Peter Levine, recognizes that trauma recovery has to happen through the body, not just through the mind. It's about learning to feel your body again, to trust its signals, to allow the trapped energy to finally move through and out of your system. Recent research published in the journal Somatic Experiencing shows that when trauma is released from the body, people experience physical sensations like tingling, warmth, muscle twitching, or shaking. These aren't signs that something is wrong. These are signs that your nervous system is finally completing the survival responses that got stuck during the original trauma. You might experience emotional releases, sudden crying, laughter, or anger that seems to come from nowhere. You might notice changes in your breathing, feeling lighter, increased energy, or vivid dreams as your psyche processes and integrates the experiences that have been trapped in your body. But here's what I need you to understand about the conventional medical system. They're trained to treat symptoms, not causes. They see your chronic pain, your digestive issues, your mysterious illnesses as separate problems that need separate treatments. They don't understand that all of these symptoms are actually parts of one connected story, the story of your body holding on to trauma. This is why you can spend years going from doctor to doctor, getting test after test, trying medication after medication, and still not get better. They're treating the smoke while ignoring the fire. They're trying to silence your body's cry for help instead of listening to what it's trying to tell you. The pharmaceutical approach is particularly insidious because it's designed to mask symptoms rather than address causes. Pain medications don't heal trauma, they just numb your body's attempts to communicate with you. Antidepressants don't resolve the neurological dysregulation caused by chronic stress, they just artificially alter your brain chemistry. Sleep medications don't address why your nervous system can't relax enough for natural sleep, they just force unconsciousness. And here's the really troubling part. Many of these medications actually interfere with your body's natural healing processes. They can suppress the very mechanisms your nervous system needs to process and release trauma. They can create dependency that keeps you trapped in the medical system instead of empowering you to heal. This doesn't mean that medication is never helpful. Sometimes it can provide necessary stability while you do the deeper work. But medication alone will never heal trauma, because trauma isn't a chemical imbalance, it's an energetic imbalance, a nervous system dysregulation, a fundamental disruption in your body's ability to feel safe. Now, let me share with you the most important insight I've gained from my own healing journey and from working with countless trauma survivors. Your body isn't broken. Your symptoms aren't random. Your pain isn't meaningless. Your body is actually incredibly intelligent. It's been doing exactly what it needed to do to keep you alive in an unsafe environment. The muscle tension that causes you pain, that's your body's way of staying ready to protect you. The digestive issues that plague you, that's your body prioritizing survival over digestion. The chronic fatigue that exhausts you, that's your nervous system's way of conserving energy for the constant threat assessment it's been doing for years. Your body has been your greatest ally, your most faithful protector, even when you felt betrayed by it. It has carried the burden of your trauma so that your mind could function, so that you could survive, so that you could be here today, learning how to heal. But now it's time for a different relationship with your body. Now it's time to move from survival to thriving. Now it's time to teach your nervous system that the danger has passed, that it's safe to relax, that it's safe to feel good in your own skin. This process isn't comfortable. When you start to release trauma from your body, you're going to feel things you've been avoiding for years. You're going to experience sensations that might scare you. You're going to have to feel your way through the very experiences your body has been protecting you from. But here's what I know after walking this path myself and guiding others through it. On the other side of this process is a freedom you've never experienced. It's the freedom of feeling truly at home in your body. It's the freedom of trusting your body's signals instead of fighting them. It's the freedom of having a nervous system that can actually relax, that can actually feel pleasure, that can actually experience joy. When you heal trauma at the body level, everything changes. Your chronic pain begins to resolve. Your digestive issues improve. Your sleep becomes restorative. Your energy returns. But more than that, you start to feel like yourself again. Maybe for the first time in your life, you start to understand that your body isn't your enemy. It's your greatest teacher. Every sensation, every symptom, every signal is information. Your body is constantly communicating with you, telling you what it needs, what feels safe, what feels threatening. When you learn to listen to this communication instead of fighting it, you gain access to an intelligence that's been guiding you all along. This is why body-based approaches to healing are so powerful. Whether it's somatic experiencing, trauma-informed yoga, breathwork, massage therapy, acupuncture, or any other modality that works directly with the nervous system, these approaches recognize that healing has to happen where the trauma is stored. But it's not just about releasing trauma from your body. It's about rebuilding your relationship with your body on a foundation of safety, trust, and respect. It's about learning to feel your emotions without being overwhelmed by them. It's about developing the capacity to be present in your body, even when uncomfortable sensations arise. This process requires patience, compassion, and often professional support. Trauma recovery isn't a DIY project, it's a journey that benefits from skilled guidance from therapists who understand the body-based nature of trauma. But the journey is absolutely worth it, because what you're really healing isn't just your trauma, you're reclaiming your birthright to feel good in your own body. Your body has been keeping the score of your trauma, yes, but it's also been keeping the score of your resilience, your strength, your incredible capacity to survive and eventually thrive. Every day that you wake up, every breath that you take, every beat of your heart is testimony to your body's unwavering commitment to your life. Now it's time to partner with your body in writing a new story. A story where pain transforms into wisdom, where wounds become sources of strength, where your body becomes not just the keeper of your trauma history, but the author of your healing future. The journey of healing trauma through the body is the journey home to yourself. And that journey, as challenging as it might be, is the most important journey you'll ever take. Because when you heal the split between your mind and your body, when you integrate your trauma instead of just managing it, when you learn to live in your body as a safe and sacred space, that's when you don't just survive your trauma, you transform it into the greatest source of wisdom and power you've ever known. Your body has been waiting for this moment, waiting for you to finally listen, finally understand, finally come home. Are you ready to begin that journey? Are you ready to read the story your body has been trying to tell you? Are you ready to transform your greatest source of pain into your greatest source of power? The choice is yours. But remember, your body has never given up on you. It's time to return that loyalty, that faithfulness, that unwavering commitment to healing. Your body is your trauma history, yes, but it's also your healing destiny. And that destiny begins right now with the next breath you take.